Well, that's what Tony was just referring to as well. Some producers expect, as we mentioned in the intro, that a carton of eggs could eventually go for $15 a pop. So is that what you're referring to there?
Exactly. I mean, this is the investment that you're talking about is anywhere from around $2 or $3 million through to $20 million, depending on the scale of your production. And this is where people need to understand that cost has to be passed on. Now, the supermarkets sometimes try to keep that cost back on the farmer and they bear some of that cost. They can't afford to do that because margins are already tight. I've got to say, if you look at a free-range production system, I've been to one in my own electorate whereby the chooks don't even want to go outside because they fear predators. They like the shelter. So I think there's conflicting science around this as well. And I think this is why we don't need to rush. There needs to be more consultation. But the Queensland and New South Wales agricultural ministers need to break away and do their own thing and pause on this, because that's where the majority of egg production in this country prevails. But,
I mean, Europe and New Zealand, they've already moved towards this. And 2036, is that not still a fair run-up to prepare for changes?
Well, I don't think New Zealand is the gold star on anything to follow, with due respect. We've seen what they've done around a methane tax to their farmers over there. So I don't think we should take any advice from New Zealand in any way, shape or form. But what's happened is that our egg producers have made significant capital investments in these cages, and the useful life of these cages was out to 2046. They now have to pivot to get away from that. And that's an extra cost, an extra burden that they're going to have to invest. And that takes time when cash flows are tight. You just don't pull money out of the air when you're an egg producer. There are tight margins that you're working on, and that has to be passed on. And I think this just needs some more consultation.
All right. And just a final one here, David. How disappointing for you? The trade deal with Europe is off for now?
No, I'm not disappointed. It's got to be the right deal for us. We only export around $2 billion to the EU, while they import around $6 billion worth of agricultural product. We need to make sure that the quotas are satisfactory. We need to make sure that the geographical indicators aren't given away, particularly for wine and dairy. And we're also very concerned about this push by the EU to impose their production systems on Australia. We're in a different continent, and they want to remove much of our herbicides and pesticides and fertilisers and think that they have better animal welfare standards than ours. So I've got great concerns about the EU imposing their will on us. So it's important that the government holds firm and gets the best deal for Australian agriculture. And if it's not there, then we should walk away. When they walked away with the UK from us in the 60s, we found this place called Asia and the Middle East, and they've been very good trading partners, and we'll continue to try and diversify through those markets. But if the EU wants to come to the party, then we're more than happy under our terms to sign up with them.
OK. David Littleproud, we're out of time. Appreciate your time, though. We'll talk to you soon.